Hey there, people. Welcome back to the Diggy Lips channel. Haven't uploaded on here in quite a long time. Haven't been taking fitness as seriously, but now I'm starting to get a little bit more into fitness and health and what have you. So I just wanted to go over my InBody scan that I did at Orange Theory, which I joined about a month ago or so. I've been liking the workouts so far. They're, pretty simple, just running on a treadmill or rowing really hard, trying to get your heart rate up, and then, you do a little section of some, some resistance training, basic stuff like, you know, some rows, some push-ups, some squats, some lunges and stuff. You put some instability stuff like the BOSU ball and what have you. Or you do single leg work like single leg deadlifts and what have you. Really easy stuff, mostly just dumbbells and pretty basic stuff. You're not gonna you're not gonna overexert yourself really on that portion unless you're like really have no experience with weights. But I mostly do it just for the high intensity interval training aspect of the workout. Anyways, I'm kind of just rambling on and on and on. Well, let's go over these numbers real quick. Okay, so here, shit, I lost it, of course. But anyways, here you can see the email I did it. I did it today, which, it's an in-body scan. If you've never done those, you step on a scale, you enter your height, it measures your weight, obviously, and you put the hold on to two little handlebars straight, and it takes literally like 30 seconds. So, it's not doing the most advanced scanning, I guess. The DEXA scan is the top, the gold standard, and what have you. People disagree on that also. I mean, fitness is just so so much disagreement and a bunch of stuff. But anyways, we're just gonna look at these numbers real quick. It's pretty basic stuff, even if it's inaccurate. I tried to standardize it, so I came in at 7 a.m. fasted, so I didn't want to, the easiest way to hack this is to just drink a ton of water, and then it'll magically you have more lean body mass and what have you. So obviously try to come in the morning and be fasted, so I didn't eat anything, I didn't drink anything. I literally just brushed my teeth and went straight to Orange Theory. But anyways, here you can see male 27 at 35.8% body fat. So most people pay attention to the body fat percentage, which is an important thing. And, a lot of people pay attention to it. The lower it is, usually the healthier you are and what have you. But you look at weight, obviously above average, way too pretty much obese at 269.3. Yeah, I don't know. The scale said 271, so it might be a little off. Whatever, the percentages are like, what, 0.5 to 1% difference, maybe, if the weight is slightly off or what have you. But anyways, here, I guess, doing good on muscle mass, which is one of the things that you want to pay attention more, because most people are, as Peter Attia says, like, I'm not coming up with anything new. I'm just regurgitating information that I've heard. But, you want to be sufficiently muscled, and you want to be metabolically healthy. So, meaning you don't have diabetes or pre-diabetes and, all that good stuff. But anyways, here, obviously, muscled is fine, I guess. It says 100 pounds, which is above average, but it all depends. Maybe it's skewed because the data might be, uh, you know, it might be biased towards more unhealthy people who have never worked out literally in their life. But I've worked out for since high school, I guess, seriously. But I did take like 2 or 3 years where I literally did not care at all, and I just got fat, and I could definitely tell like in my legs. Like at one point, I was doing weightlifting like all the time, and that's all I did. So I did a shit ton of squats, snatch, clean and jerks, just heavy, heavy stuff. Like literally, I think like 5 reps was like the most reps I did. Maybe every once in a blue moon, I do like 8 to 10 reps for some like bodybuilding stuff, just basic like benching or something, just randomly. But anyways, maybe we'll look at those videos, take a stroll down memory lane. But here, obviously, body fat mass is above average, 96.5, so almost the equivalent of the muscle mass that I have. So that's not good, obviously. And here it kind of breaks down whatever the difference in each limb and what have you. So pretty balanced, 10.9, 10.8 left arm, the trunk 78.7, and then left and right, which is surprising because I've done these scans back when I was in college, and I also did them at the YMCA where they offered it for like 15 or 20 bucks or something like that. So I did one of those, and at that time I was doing a lot of weightlifting. I was probably hovering around 200 pounds or so. I forget my body fat percentage, but I'm sure I was still, considered overweight. Probably like somewhere in like the 28 to like somewhere 28 to 30%. So probably like sitting around, I don't know. I forget, so there's no point in bringing those numbers up. But the surprising thing was that my left leg had way more muscle mass at that time. Like, I guess a significant portion. It was like, I think 1 to like 1.2 pounds, which is a big difference that you wouldn't tend to see. Like numbers now here indicate that what, point 0.1, your dominant versus your non-dominant hand and arm and leg to say. But at that time, I feel like since I was doing so much leg like squats, I think like my left leg obviously had the knee injury, the MCL tear, and the meniscus repair that they had to clean up. Like when I was in high school for football injury, my left leg like compensated so much, I guess, to like stabilize that knee because it was like I was doing a ton of squatting, like deep squats, high bar squats, snatches, clean and jerks. So like that, like I don't know, like my body just kind of added more like muscle mass. But you always hear athletes, professional athletes, that they have no meniscus and they're like fine, they're jumping out of the gym, they're dunking, they're what have you. It's like it doesn't affect them almost. And I feel like, that's probably a portion of it, your body compensates and more muscle has to be added to try to stabilize that leg. But I don't know. I'm not a physical therapist. I have no idea. But here, one thing that also gives you is the metabolic rate. So that's like how many calories you need to like just stay alive, I guess. And then obviously you can click here and you'll get more information. It gives you kind of like the basic stuff, like how much, what to do if you want to do weight loss, what to do if you want to do muscle loss. It's a PDF. It's pretty informative if you have absolutely no idea. And here it kind of gives you a comparison, green, yellow, red zone. Man, they always talk about these zones. If you don't know, Orange Theory is all about being in that orange zone, which is, I think for them, is anywhere from 80 to 90%. But I don't know, I kind of follow it from 85 to 95%, 94%, I guess. That's what I usually consider the orange zone, or like a submaximal, what's the word? Effort. But yeah, here just if you want to read that, what have you, yeah, it gives you the energy expenditure, body composition, how much you should lose per week, fat loss. Always recommends the zero point 0.5 to 2 pounds. So realistically, if I'm at like 270, I should only lose what 2, at 8 pounds per 8 pounds per month. I guess that'd be pretty aggressive still. And usually when you start off a fat loss phase, a lot of it's just kind of water weight. at the beginning, so your numbers might be slightly higher during the beginning. And it kind of gives you like calorie stuff, burning, but obviously you have to focus mostly on diet, so it doesn't really give you, it tries to tell you that you should do 3 to 4 workouts, but what they're doing is trying to sell you, a membership that, for that unlimited gives you pay like $100, $120, I forget what it was, and you get in there, burn more calories, which is always like a good strategy, but usually most people can outwork. They can't really outwork a shitty diet. So yeah, concentrate on the diet. It kind of tells you if you want to build muscle, do more, focus on the floor, blah blah blah. Eating well, it kind of gives you a general idea, but it's kind of just simple information that you can't really you gotta like get in the details if you want. At the end of the day, it's all about what is sustainable. Lane Norton always talks about that. The diets don't really matter if you're on keto, if you're on a high carb, a low carb, a high fat, what have you. It doesn't matter unless you're like some athlete that like has to have a specific amount of like carbs for energy, or you're trying to build muscle. Obviously, you got to get that protein in. But it's mostly about for weight loss. There's no significant difference from if you eat a high carb, a low fat, low carb, high protein. It's all the same thing, but it's mostly what you can find and sustain for the rest of your life. Yeah, because that's what it is at the end of the day. You have to literally change your not only like your habits, but you have to change like your state of who you are, like your identity. Like, are you a person who goes to the gym consistently, 3 to 5 days a week? It's like, what does a person like that look like? Oh, that person sets their alarm on time, goes to sleep on time. Oh, that person uh, has a community around them to support them when they're not feeling well or what have you. It's like it's simple, but the more and more you dig, the more and more you can try to add layers to really like set that new habit into stone. When by the time you go a year, and all of a sudden you're like, I work out whatever Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and sometimes Saturday or Sunday. So you're like, yeah, I'm a person who works out 5 days, 4 days a week, 3 or 4 days a week. And then by the time you're there, you won't recognize the person who didn't even work out at all, or worked out or dreaded working out 3 times a week. So you literally have to like change through habits, and then when the habits actually stick, it's because they're part of your identity. That's a thing that I read anyways from Atomic Habits. James Clear is very this whole thing that he, first it's habits are so complicated, but the thing is that it has to become part of your identity, and once you're part of your identity, the habit can just stay consistent, and you can build upon that. If you work out 3 times a week consistently for 6 months, you're like, okay, maybe I want to do a marathon, or one of those like a show or something. You want to get jacked as possible and enter a bodybuilding show just to say I did it, or what have you. Or usually it's endurance stuff, and you know all that kind of stuff. Or I want to get really strong in the powerlifting with 3 lifts, or weightlifting like I did back in the day. Anyways, let's go down memory lane. Yeah, I remember those good old days. yeah, I'm just ranting and raving, man. Oh man. Anyways, at the time here, uh, it's just a compilation of my best squats. So I think I forget what this is. I think it was 405 or something like that, or maybe like 400 pounds exactly. Maybe exactly what? Yeah, it's 182 kilograms, so it's like 400, 401, 400.4 or something. But yeah, at the time here, like my thighs were so huge. And I think here I would go for, I think it's this, what is this? It's gotta be like 185? 185 for 5. I think it might be 185 for 5. So here, I like, I was so strong, but I had literally like no cardiovascular fitness besides like, you know, just training, resistance training and going back to back on squats, I guess. That's the most amount of cardio I got. But I would never do anything consistently, like steady state cardio. Maybe I'd go out for a run, but you know, probably just like go straight into like anaerobic zone because I couldn't sustain anything. And here, I think it was 500 pounds or like close to that, maybe like 501. So I forget. That's like 223 kilograms, 224, something like that. I feel like. But yeah, I think this is my all-time best squat. Yeah, yeah, obviously my all-time best squat. Like now, I could probably hit maybe 330 to 350 on like a good day. Like I warmed up properly for like a good 10, 15 minutes. Knees not sore, well rested, good sleep. I would need all that. But here I'm just crushing 500 pounds. Yeah, those were the good old days. Good old days. But yeah, anyways. Oh yeah, let's go over VO2 max. Anyways, VO2 max, obviously the thing to measure fitness and the thing that I'm mostly concentrated on at the moment. Like that's kind of all I'm trying to do, try to get fit as possible according to the VO2 max, and then by that, once I get, into average to above average, then I'll start implementing more stuff that, that's enjoyable, like, snatch, clean and jerks. But if I start concentrating on that, it brings away like all the takes away the VO2 max training, which is the steady state zone 2 training, which you've probably heard on so many podcasts over like the last 2 years or so. Peter Attia, and he interviewed that one guy who was like, what was his name? But anyways, he's like worked with a bunch of professional cyclists, Pogachar, who won it recently, and what have you. So he obviously knows it's all about Zone 2. So that's what I've been pretty much following ever since reading the book Outlive by Peter Attia. That's what I've kind of been concentrating on, just increasing my cardio because like it is complete dog shit. Like if you just look at these numbers, like yeah. So here, this the one. Yeah. So June 1st, 2024, I went out for a run. Uh, and I found this thing online. Yeah, do a 1.5 mile run. Pretty much as the fastest you can do. So here, yeah, I went. I calculated all it requires is your age, the time for the 1.5 mile, and that's it. And obviously, this is a very, very rough estimate. Like, same thing with your thing on your Apple Health. I looked at that. It pretty much was like I think 2 points, maybe like 1.5 points higher than this, but who knows what they're doing to estimate it. Anyways, I thought this was like, okay, cheap way to kind of measure your progress. But, and then the next photo, I think I literally did it very recently. Yeah. So yesterday, uh, so I guess here it's obviously still very, very poor, and then that's cut off anyways. But very, very poor. VO2 max 34.2, and I think the previous said like 32 point something, 32.9. So really, pretty much no difference over 6 weeks. Uh, no, you're not gonna get fast results increasing your VO2 max. Like it takes time to build a good enough base, and you have to get weight loss going and what have you. But anyways, here I'm just looking at my like previous week. So this is what I've been doing consistently now for like the past 5 weeks, I guess. You know, so average, here was this last week literally 258 minutes of working out. So that includes zone 2 training, high intensity training, you know, and resistance training as well. And resistance training is the thing that I've been struggling with now, like to actually do properly. But anyways, here averaging 36 minutes a day. Uh, and then here this chart is kind of looks cool. But anyways, zone 4 is at 85 to 95% of submaximal effort. So about an hour. So I think, what did that include? Uh, so these are the workouts that I did. So it included 2 Orange Theory workouts. Like I said, those are really, really good to get your heart rate up and get into that 85 to 95%. And obviously theirs is kind of slightly lower. It's about 80 to, I forget what the website says, 80 to 90%, I think. And then above that is in the red zone. And if you get their heart rate thing and it syncs up and it tells you a bunch more stats on the app and what have you. But I just hit cross training on my Zones app, which is an app that kind of it'll tell you which you can customize the zones and stuff, which is kind of a waste of money considering your Apple Watch can do that now. But at the time, it was a thing that I really wanted to dial in the Zone 2 training and wanted to get specific about it. But here, yeah, anyways, uh, and this high intensity interval training, I think it's from an app that I clicked a warm up session and it has you do the stretching and stuff, but it's not really a high intensity interval. It's just like pre workout stretching and mobilizing. But here lower body, so I did one lower body, one upper body, and then I did a zone 2, and then the VO2 max training is that 1.5 mile run. So here I completed it in 15:45. This doesn't show seconds. So that correlates with the VO2 max that I did recently on the website. So it correlates with this one. So this one was at 15 minutes and 45 seconds is what my time was. So still pretty terrible, not good, but I guess slight improvement compared to this one, which was I think 16 minutes and like 20 seconds. So I guess I shaved a couple of seconds off of it. But next time I do it, and I'll probably wait way longer to do it, just to kind of not like fry my energy just on that one test every 6 weeks kind of seems overkill. But yeah, and yeah, I don't have much else to say. And then here, I think it just keeps track of your how much Vigorous exercise was just moderate, but vigorous exercise is weird because the app measures it anything above 70%, but I don't know, anything above 70%. I mean, most of my zone 2 training is around that 75 to 80%, but it's not like killing me, so I don't know. But anyways, here doing a decent job getting vigorous exercise, and moderate exercise is usually my resistance training because it's kind of hard to get your heart rate up, uh, like unless you're going totally hard, like on legs or like some big muscle group like back or chest and back or something like that. So yeah, I'll just keep rambling. What else? What else? What else? Oh yeah, I was gonna go over the calorie counter. So obviously the orange theory, the InBody composition, whatever, the machine gives you an estimate. So that's how many calories you need just to stay alive. And then here, I think here I did the same. 27 years old, 271. And then if I do just basic metabolic rate and calculate, it says 2181. So I don't know, maybe this one's calculating the muscle mass or what have you, or the body fat percentage. I have no idea how they get to that number. But anyways, now that's what I've already been kind of dieting, lost like mostly a bunch of water weight, like first 10 to 15 pounds, like I think like 2 weeks ago I was 200 and like 85, 83 pounds. So yeah, very slowly just chipping away at those pounds. But yeah. Anyways, but here this is a really good calculator just to kind of get a general idea. So I guess if I say I kind of overestimates, I feel like, because if I say daily workouts, because I do work out about 6 to 8 times a week, so if I say daily workouts, I feel like it overshoots it, because 3381 seems like a lot of calories. I don't know. But right now, I've been having my calories sit at around 2400, I think 2380 technically. But the breakdown of that is pretty much just the number one thing is to hit my protein goal, which I think is 1 gram per pound of body weight. So whatever, if I weigh 271 grams of protein, which sounds like a lot, and trust me, it is a lot. You have to supplement unless you're gonna just eat a ton of lean meat, just like lean fish, lean chicken, like cutting off all the fat, and lean steaks, like no fat whatsoever, and cooking it in the least fatty fashion per se, like you're not deep frying it obviously, and you're kind of just like either baking it or air frying it or what have you. But yeah, that's what I've been doing lately. Sitting at around 2400 calories per day. So the number one thing is to hit my protein goal, 270, and then I split the fats and carbs up uh, into evenly distributed, I guess, of the remaining calories. So just for doing some math here, anyways, let's get the calculator out just to kind of see. At the end of the day, these numbers are just estimates, and they can be pretty spot on for some people and pretty off for others. And I found that, it's just kind of a general guideline to get your foot in the door, and then you have to like tweak it up or down depending on if you're losing body fat weight, if you're losing body weight too fast, like 4 or 5 pounds a week, maybe it's normal for like a week and a half, 2 weeks, or if you're extremely like obese like me, maybe it's fine for like a couple weeks, but who knows? Maybe a month, 2 months. Anyways, let's get down to some calculations. So anyways, if I'm getting 2400 calories a day, okay, so that's how many calories we get every day. Let's write that down somewhere. A marker would be nice. A marker would be nice. Anyways, yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's say, this is so. Okay, so 2400. So how you would break this down is you get your body weight. So in that case, it's 270 pounds for me, and that's how many grams of protein I'm aiming for. So you would, and then you just kind of have to look this up or know the background knowledge. It's not that complicated, but it's 4 grams, 4 calories per gram of protein. So you multiply that by 4. So you'd have to do 1080. Okay, so math. So that's how many calories if you consume 270 grams of protein. That's how many calories you will consume of protein. So you do 2400 minus 2800 minus 1080. What the fuck? 2800. Okay. So 1320 is the remaining amount of calories. Okay. 1320. So if you want to distribute it evenly, you would divide that by 2. Okay, so that's how many? 660 are going to carbs and 660 are going to fat. If you want to do it, again, you can mess around with these numbers as much as you want. If you feel better with more carbs, that's fine. You can do 800 and whatever that number would be. So 1320 minus 800. So so 800 calories from carbs and 520 calories from fat, or vice versa, what have you. Or if you take a balanced approach, kind of do this. So 660. Now, to get your carbs, you divide that by 4. Same amount. Carbs and protein are the same amount. So 660 divided by 4. Let's just add, okay. So carbs, and then we'll go fats. So we'll go fat. So anyway, so 165 carbs is grams of carbs is how many you will get. So let's write that down in red. So 165 grams of carbs. Okay, let's extend this a little bit. Okay. So then for fats, you just have to switch out how many, what you're going to divide it by. So 660 divided by 9, which is 9 calories per gram of fat. So 73, you can round that up to 74 per se. And you do 74, orange, 74. Okay. So 74 grams of fat is how much you will be allocated every day. So if we break this down, let's look at everything. So we have 270 grams of protein. And you have 165 grams of carbs and 74 grams of fat. Now, if you want to check your math and see if you did it right, this should equal to about 2400 calories. If you obviously the fat will not because you rounded up. or if you round down, it'll be slightly lower. But let's just stick to these numbers. So 270, you can add the carbs and protein together because it's the same. You're going to multiply it by the same number by 4 because it is the same amount of calories in carbs or protein. But protein is a lot more satiating, so that's why I go with this strategy. And it preserves muscle mass and what have you. So you add those two numbers out, 435, multiply that 4 equals 1740. So we'll just add 1740. Okay. So 1740. That's how much from protein and carbs. They do 74 times 9 equals that. 666. Ooh. 666. Anyways. So we add those two numbers up, 666 plus 1740. And you get 2406. So if you were to hit those numbers right on the dot, you would consume 2406, which is, pretty good if your goal is 2400. You know, even food labels are inaccurate, so unless, even if you were to measure every single thing, you'd be off, plus or minus, who knows, 100 calories, 200 calories, but if you consistently track your calories over time, you will lose body weight because you're eating less than you're expending. Anyways, that's all I got. I've been ranting enough. Who knows how this video will turn out. One take. And yeah, maybe I'll do an update once I do another scan and see how I'm progressing.